Hello everyone, Ceri Griffiths here, or as you know me, Ceri the Crafter. And we're done. Hashtag Mixed Media March 25 is finished. I can't believe it. It's been a very, very busy month, obviously. 30, well, it's probably going to end up about 34, 35 videos in 31 days with the roundups and all of the other stuff. Extremely tiring. I'm a bit burnt out, I'll freely admit this. However, what a month. I mean, just amazing amount of support, amazing amount of pieces of art flying around, just the support, constructive criticism, everything has been absolutely fabulous, and thank you so much for that. Couldn't have done it without you. Yes, just to let you know that this is now an annual event. I am now going to keep it as hashtag Mixed Media March, and then the year will be the bit on the end. So it's 25 this year. Next year will be hashtag Mixed Media March 26. I'm keeping 99% of the format of, I don't like to call them rules, guidelines, shall we call them, will stay the same every single year, although every year I will do a slight tweak somehow. Maybe I'll throw you a curveball and it has to include a something, or maybe the shape will change, or I'm not likely to give prompts. People have asked me for prompts. I find prompts are quite restricting, although other people find prompts quite freeing. I need to give that quite a bit of thought. I need to talk to a core of designers that are part of my family and see how they feel about that, because what I might do is, if I do create any prompts, they will very much be an optional extra for those who want to follow prompts. I do not want to dictate people follow prompts. I don't want to follow prompts. I find prompts are great for getting you out of a creative slump, but sometimes I find that they sort of cull your creativity into a little box, and I struggle following them. So anyway, just enough about me. So what did I learn from this? Film a bit more in advance. I gave you all 6 weeks at least to get ready, and I didn't start filming till the day before. Stupid, I did this last year as well. So I really do need to get on the ball for next year. Obviously we're a year away, so I've got a little bit of time. I need to think about that more. I need to plan more. I liked my concertina journal. However, if I ever do a concertina journal again for a challenge, I will stick with the format of, I'll create the concertina journal, I will create the art pieces and stick them into it. Working directly into a concertina journal for me was a nightmare. Trying to unfold it so bits laid flat and could still be seen, and then this bit wasn't being damaged, and it was just too much for me. Also, if I think I probably would have struggled slightly if I'd have had a regular art journal. I probably would have struggled slightly as well, because the pages may not lay flat and stuff like that. So I need to think more about that. I think next year, whatever I decide that the challenge is doing, I think I will create them separately, and then they will go into maybe an art journal, an art pouch, a specific box that's held for them. Maybe they'll get attached to a big ring. Maybe they're going to ring folder. Maybe once they're done, each of them will get a hinge put down one side, and they'll be put into something, maybe a cinch journals thing. I don't know. I haven't got there yet, but just know that I will not be doing a challenge directly into a concertina journal again. And on that note too, someone did mention to me, I really struggled getting my concertina journal to lay flat when I was working on it. And apparently someone who makes concertina journals got hold of me and said, the reason that is happening is because you made your covers bigger than your page. So if you want them to lay completely flat when you make them, you need to make your covers the same size as your page, because then when the covers lay flat, all the pages should line up next to each other as well. So new to me, but I'm going to give that a go next time I do one of them. Let's see what, I have my box of papers that I made for the journal. I have a lot of them left. I have a couple of ideas about how I'm going to utilize them actually. There's going to be a couple of follow-up videos after this, like probably in April, maybe as far as May, like what I'm going to do with the follow-up papers, what I'm going to do with the spare bits that became artist trading cards and tags. There was one where I was asked, can I show how to make the spiral mark making tool? Also, I want to show you how to make a tissue that is comparable to the Tim Holtz tissue for decoupage and collage. There were quite a few things that came up. I have made note of them, and if there's anything you think I've missed, by all means let me know in the comments. I will add it to the list if it's something I see myself being able to do. What else? I am going to go to a flip through in a minute, guys, so I just want to get all this stuff. Oh, right, post-it note. Okay, I am really bad at finding out stats on social media and stuff, so I've done the best I can with what I have access to. Just remember, this was filmed on the 30th of March. So the actual challenge isn't finished until midnight on the 31st of March 2025. So these figures are going to grow. They're not going to decrease, they're going to grow. I was not able to find out anything to do with how many posts in Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I couldn't work a way of finding that out. I couldn't find out how many posts or likes were done on Pinterest either. Couldn't work out the technique behind that. I did go onto Facebook, couldn't find the total Facebook mentions. However, I do know if I've read my insights correctly, and we know how bad I am with figures, if I've read my insights correctly, my Facebook page, Ceri Griffiths Creative Designs, for the last 28 days, now you've got to remember the only thing I've been posting on there for the last 28 days is everything to do with hashtag Mixed Media March 25. It reckons I've had 25,050 views on my page in the last 28 days. That's mind-blowing. Pity I don't earn money for that one, I can tell you. What else? When I did a search of YouTube, I'm sure someone is going to update these figures, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Mariah from PM Artist Studio, because Mariah's a bit of a, she'll dig down for details. Once the whole thing is done, I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't let me know the exact figures. And if she does, I will absolutely let you know. Anyway, on YouTube, as far as I could see, there have been 574 videos posted, and that includes everything from a short to a slightly longer short to a full tutorial. And as far as I can see, there were 39 other YouTube channels involved. Now, as I said, there's bound to be more stats than that. I just couldn't find them because my lack of IT, and also I've been so focused on creating art for 31 days. That's just what with coming up with the concept and the prep and researching stuff that I needed for it, then having to create, I call it live on camera, but you know what I mean, with the camera pointed at me. Just the pressure of that is like doing it with someone watching over your shoulder, which is, I find that sort of a subliminal pressure, but I deal with it. Obviously I deal with it, I've dealt with it. I've learned stuff about myself this month. I've learned some things I can do. I've also struggled with a few things. I've left those in. I've made a few schoolboy errors, left them in, and I cured them. You have been very complimentary about my artwork, and thank you so much for that. As any true artist would tell you, I think we're a bit of an insecure lot. We never believe our work is good enough. We never believe ourselves worthy of the title artist. I have really tried to embrace that, and if anyone does ask me what I do for a living, I tell them, firstly, I'm a mixed media artist. Secondly, I'm a content creator or a YouTube influencer. That's my job titles. And I own them, and I feel if you meaningfully create anything, you are an artist. The word crafter is in my name, Ceri the Crafter. And some people have said, well, why isn't it Ceri the Artist? Because it doesn't rhyme. Ceri the artist doesn't sound as good as Ceri the crafter. And when I came up with the whole logo or branding for who I am, um, I believed myself a crafter because I I was a lot insecure back then, and I didn't believe that I could own the title artist. But I've come to the point where yes, I can. But I'm not going to change Ceri the crafter. I like the quirky little Ceri the crafter. I like that. That's become something that's instantly recognised as me. It's part of who I am. And yes, I do crafts. So I could be Ceri the arts and crafter, but that's just blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean. So anyway, I'm just grateful we've done it. Yeah, just very, very grateful we've done it. I've been quite surprised with some of the things I've come up with. The one page, well, we'll talk about it when I flip through, because I'll do a quick flip through. I'm not going to linger on every single page. This doesn't need to be an hour and a half video. I do want to say a couple of things on each page that maybe I might have changed or I might have added to. Like, the temptation for me is to go back through the concertina journal and tweak. And yes, I have the right to do that, but I'm not going to, because I have this thing, and I do it in my art journals, I do it with my postcards, I do it with my background, I do it with everything I do, is when I decide it's finished, I sign it. And once it's signed, that's it, it's finished. And it's a personal rule that once I've signed it, I am not going to go back and tweak it. Although if I really, really felt that passionately, I would go back and tweak it. However, knowing I have that personal rule makes me stop and be really analytical of what is the reason why you want to tweak that. Why isn't it finished in your mind, Ceri? So yeah, that's good. So now, I am launching the colour combo on April the 1st, which means I've got another day's filming to do tomorrow. And then once that is launched on the 1st of April, I think I'm taking a couple of days away, guys. So please don't panic if you don't get a video for maybe 3 days. I just need to lie in a darkened room for a little while. I also need to clean up the studio. It's not that bad, because I'm one of these people who cleans as I go, but there are definite, I need to do a bit of cataloguing of art supplies, because I'm running low on stuff now, and I'm, ooh. And I did put an order in this morning with Jackson's Art in London, and I ordered, I think, either 7 or 8 bottles of Lucas Krill acrylic paint, bigger bottles in different colours, or some of the colours I was running out on. So I've started that journey as well. So I'm going to try and change to, as my paints run out, I'm going to replace them with Lucas Krill. And I might stretch, there's a few other brands I really like I like Pebeo, I like Amsterdam, what's the other one I like? Winsor Newton. But I'm going to try and start moving away from the craft paints, because I find that if I have craft paint, by the time I've used up the craft paint, it's smelling, it's gone gloopy, I don't go through it enough. And I found that for me personally, I've become a little lazy about mixing colours, because why do I need to make red, blue, purple? Do you know what I mean? I can just go and buy craft paint that's called red, blue, purple. So I want to start pushing myself more to work as I used to, because when I first started, I couldn't afford all the colour paints. So I had to grab my colour wheel, and I had to do a bit of research, and I had to actually work on making my own colours. And I think for a lot of them I'm going to, because I've got a reasonable eye for tweaking paint colours. But I need to use up my supply. You know the way I work, the containers are there. If there's space in the container, I can buy more paint. If the containers are full, like the boxes the colours are in, I can't buy. There's a few things coming through in April for us all. I think it's either Coffee with Ceri or 10 questions, I can't remember. Also, I'm going to do a post on my community tab. Sorry, community, I haven't posted there in a month. I think you get the reason why. And what I'm going to do is I need to put a call out for more questions because I've only got 10 more questions to go and I've run out of questions. And it's time that I actually put that out there. I've got a product review for you to do in April as well. A company has reached out and sent me some metallic paints, and funny enough, I'm down to like 3 metallic paints. That could have been more perfect timing. So I said yes, under the criteria that I always say with a review. I tell them point blank, just because you're sending me product doesn't mean you get a positive review. I want to be holding to myself and do an honest review, and if they don't like it, I'll just offer to pay for the paint. They'll usually go, no, it's fine, and let's just write it off. But I will willingly pay for the paint if I'm going to keep the paint. I'll just send it back to them. I don't care. Right. What else do you need to know? I think that's about it. I think we just need to go to the overhead now, and we need to look at through the concertina journal. I only do one challenge a year, one I run anyway a year. I am, however, this year, moving forward, I'm going to create personal challenges that maybe I offer to one person. Like maybe I'll come up with a concept, not maybe, I have come up with a concept. I have reached out to another creator, and there will be a challenge. I think it might be in May. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with things that I will offer that challenge to one other person, and we will both do the challenge. And then once I've done the challenge with that person can then take that challenge if they wish and offer it to another person. And if I like it a lot, I might offer it to another person. So see what I mean? That takes the pressure off me a little bit, so that it's not the world is watching. It's just a one-to-one challenge. And I can be more specific. Like if I was going to say I was going to challenge my friend Gail Augustinelli, I wouldn't challenge Gail to a 3-dimensional mixed media piece, but I would do an ephemera making challenge, or I do a folio challenge. I do something like that. So I can tailor the challenges to the people I'm working and challenging to do the same as me. Also, you may have noticed, I'm sorry, I've gone into another update video here. Last thing, you may have noticed I haven't been launching a product per month with PM Artist Studio. That's not a problem. There's nothing going wrong. Don't read into it anything that's not there. I've been producing a product a month, I think, for the last 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years with PM Artist Studio. And I wanted to just step back a little bit and let myself have a bit more creative time, as in more art journaling, more glue booking, more creative, more pieces of art for the wall, that sort of stuff. So I decided last year, and I've spoken to Mariah about it, and I'm going to be launching products every other month. Also, I'm going to be doing the launches, so watch out for those. If I come up with some fantastic bells and whistles idea, though, you never know, there may be a couple of months where I launch 1 month and then the next month. So just know there's no problem whatsoever with PM Artist Studio myself. It's just I want more creative time for me. I've now given up my job, as you know. This is now my sole business, is this studio and my creativity and my YouTube channel. And that's just the way I like it. So enough gossip. It's 18 minutes, well, 19 minutes, and I've done nothing but like a muppet. So I'm going to go to the overhead. We're going to do a flip through, and then it'll be goodbye from me. So thanks for the support, guys, and keep searching the hashtag. See what comes up. There's some fabulous stuff out there. So here we go, guys. And do you know what? It didn't go as chunky as I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to become a mammoth alligator mouth thing, but then every project in here is pretty much flat. I didn't do any like journal toppers or that other dimensional. I didn't use any texture paste because I have found in the past that have texture paste, if you close the book, sometimes it rips the page off from the other side. Wasn't going to take a risk. So, first one. Okay. My flower creature or being or fairy folk or whatever it was. I loved this one, and you loved this one. All of the paper flowers. to date, this video for where I made the flowers is one of my highest viewed videos in the last couple of years, I can assure you. And I loved it, and that was a great start. And I was very tempted to do the final 2 pages of this concertina as a male version of this, but then I decided not, because that would actually just be taking away the opportunity to do another skill. So then we came in and I did 4 artist trading cards, and next to those I did 6 grid journaling panels. In hindsight, I wish I'd have put a border down here so that they were seen as separate things, because for me that just flows through as one thing. I wish I'd have put some delineation or something to divide that. And I also, looking back in hindsight now, I think I'd like to have made the background slightly paler. But again, liked it. I worked with certain colours. I loved this colour combination. I will be taking this colour combination and I will be making bigger pages from it for use in my collage work. This was lovely, delicate, not exactly me, but you know what? It looked gorgeous and I loved it. This idea where I did strips of my paper, I can't remember where I saw it. I can't remember where I saw this done first, and then with my circular. You loved this and I loved this, and I've seen so many versions of this now. I would say don't ignore the fact that you can do them horizontally, you could do them diagonally. Play around with it. I love this. This was great. Seize the day. This was fun. I always go back to nautical themes. I love the ocean. I've spent most of my life on the ocean, and this just made me smile, and it just worked. It really did. And I like the little steampunk one in the middle of there. He just made me laugh because he was trying to be a real fish. A bit like Pinocchio, really, but trying to be a real boy. This one caused me a bit of angst because I didn't know whether this would arrive in time to be able to do this. So I was supposed to create this page on here and this page on here, but the rice paper I'd ordered didn't arrive in time. So I had to create a prequel to the page. Whoa, that caused me some stress, but I did it. And thank goodness this arrived just as I was finishing filming this. So this bunny was part of the rice paper that had this, and I managed to get the bunny head and get it on there, and then it all made sense. And you all loved the mushrooms, and I'm going to make some more of those mushrooms. I think I'm down to my last one, so I need to renew that stash. And also I really like the fact that this was my interpretation of Alice in Wonderland. I wanted to hint at pieces like Alice, obviously she's got the I'm late, the labels that come from it. That's a rabbit hole. That's the key that gets her into these doors. This is her home. This is the Queen of Hearts with painting the roses red. This here that's got little pieces on the top represented a crown to me. The hearts with obviously the Queen of Hearts. So lots of symbolism there for me without saying Alice anywhere on the page. Okay, this was another piece that was just a collaged background, just showing that the flowers that I'd stamped and used didn't have to be bright, colourful flowers. And this just kept it really subtle. And this was one big journal card that I would have slid under a belly band if there'd have been a belly band. I then flipped over to more of my journal making thing, and I made pockets and tags. And these were pockets and tags in here, just showing some basic skills and showing what could be done. And I like that just utilising, what are you doing in there? Utilising gel prints. Now, when I do journals, I pretty much go down like the vintage or the floral or the themed journals. I usually only keep my gel print work for art journals and for postcards and greetings cards fronts. However, this shows me that the that the junk journaling can work in cohesion with this as well. I think I've just used the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Collaboration is probably what I meant. So I was quite happy to explore using gel plate work with ephemera. Then we came on to this, and this was all about mark making and collage. And this, I believe, was, I'm trying to remember this because it was 20 days ago at least. This was about using paints and this was about using papers, and both were then enhanced. And I like the way that they're similar but they're different. And I did try to make the opposing pages complement each other. I liked those. I did like those. And then we come to this. You loved this. I loved this. This is a technique I've personally done in journals of my own in the past, where I've done napkin onto card or paper, chopped it up. And I did mess this one up. I mean, that square there is upside down. It's the wrong way up. And I want to say this square was wrong and I didn't even notice it, but someone else did. And I managed to take a scalpel and lift it back off, turn it and stick it back down again. But I mean, if I wasn't filming, I probably wouldn't have made the mistake. But when you're talking, trying to keep within shot and work at the same time with a certain speed, I know there are excuses, I call them reasons, but I still love that, and you love that, and I've seen some version of that. This was a stencil. Who was this one by? Oh my gosh. Was this Christy Hartman? I don't know. You'll have to look back in the video for this one. This was all about me making a really delicate background, almost like a country patchwork quilt. Not meaning it to look like a quilt, but just giving a hint of that. I loved putting the bumblebee in here. I love this. This was all about showing how to do blending colours and pieces through a stencil and then outlining it afterwards. Loved that one. Well, I loved all of them, I wouldn't have done them. This was another one of me trying to embrace nature. So this was a time card double pocket. So that was the pocket I created. This was the card I put within it. And this was the tag I put within it. And what I did was I used this theme here, down here. That was my element from a gel plate, because everything had to have something from a gel plate or generated by a gel plate or additional of something from a gel plate. Didn't need to be the main focal part, just needed to be something. And I'll just put a background on. I started using these, which I use in my own art journaling, these trims, and I've had a few people say, Ceri, can I show how I make them? So that's possibly another video you're going to see from me. These were foam stamps by Michelle for Pia Marta Studio from the Creative Cove. I just wanted to give sort of a nod to a nature theme. So if this was a page within a nature journal, this is how I would make it up. And I liked it because it tied in that. And also this stamp again came down here. So I was very happy with that. And I like the bugs. I do like the bugs. So this one was my, whose was this? Paula Keen in the Netherlands. This was her stencil. Oh my gosh, what's it called? So Maron Line and Circles. I can't remember. Anyway, it's the name of a famous artist in the Netherlands, I believe. And I used it to actually create this watercolor background. And it was only when I was putting it in that I discovered the toucan was perfect on there. I stuck it down. Since doing this technique where I just trusted the water tension would hold the stencil in place, I have been told that there are repositionable spray adhesives out there that you can use. I mean, there are a couple of brands noted. I'm not going to say the brands because I know that sometimes they're country specific, but I know now that there's repositionable spray adhesive you can spray onto the back of a stencil, press it down, do your work, and then peel the stencil off and it'll leave no residue. So this could be done a lot simpler than the version I did. Then I came into watercolors, my watercolor bookmarks, and they are just a joy for me. I love those. Those are beautiful. I need to do more of these. I've run out of them. I've got none in my stash, and they're so simple to do. So simple to do, but look at the effect of them. They're just beautiful. I love those. I love dragonflies anyway. Right, and then we flip to the other side of the book. Da, da, da. So here I started leaning into some of my glue book tendencies, some of the things I do with collage, and I wanted to bring in something that was black and white. And if you watch the video, there are reasons why things are on here, but I just wanted something that was just magazine pages all about maybe empowering or giving messages, and this was what this was all about. I then went on to this. What was this? Oh, I know. I made this panel as a card topper, but this was the masking tape that I taped around the outside, and I did an abstract piece of it, and then when I finished and stuck it down, I'd already used the masking tape as accent pieces. So it's quite simple and abstract, but I liked that. This one, loved this. This was just traced out of a fashion magazine. And then I built the background, and I did play around quite a bit with pushing and pulling the intensity of the colors in this. Got to this level, and then I just did this in a permanent ink pen over the top, and it just brought it all to life. I think this is a Joan Moran stamp I used on there. So I'm very happy with that one. I'm very happy with all of them. I don't want to keep saying that. Okay, I have been asked so many times, Ceri, what do you do with your image transfers? And it gave me the opportunity to show you what I do with an image transfer. This is just, there is a video of how I do these. If you watch this video, there's a link in that description box to show you the very video where I did this transfer. And this just came together. I'm not a great lover of pink. I'm trying to embrace all colors, but that turned out beautifully, and it just said what I wanted it to say. Love that, and you love that too. Then I came back here and I thought, right, I want to go back to my journaling followers. So I made a triple pocket. So there's a big pocket with two smaller pockets in it. Made a giant journal card. I still haven't found what I want to put in there. And you know, it may never have something now because this is finished. But that was one big journal card. Again, using gel prints in the background, but they don't look out of place. I mean, I think that's a lovely effect on there. And then these little ones came in here. Which one is which? Yeah, they do face each other, don't they? I know there's a big debate about whether the birds should face each other. And these are just the two journal tags that I did fit in there. And they're lovely. And after that, I did make another one with a robin on it. If you want to see that, you'll have to watch this video, because at the beginning of this video I showed the robin that isn't in this, but it was an offcut of it. And then this one sparked so much interest, and I absolutely adored this one. Was this inspired? I think this is inspired by Kit Bell, a Canadian artist, and I just love this. And what I'm going to do now is, now this challenge is over, I want to make myself a larger version of this. I think these were like 2 2/8 or something square. I want to do it with 4-inch squares. I want to come in and recreate some of these pieces, because I know I don't have big versions of them, and I'm going to do 4-inch squares. Going to do an art piece in my living room. I absolutely love that. That was a joy, and I've seen so many people do this now. And I know that Paula Keane has done a piece for her living room already, and it's already hanging there, and she's done black and whites. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love this. You'll be seeing more of this from me. This was sort of a whole nother spin on a masterboard to me. And then I came in and I did my feather piece. And this was a combination of watercolors, a pen work. This panel here and this panel here were actually cut from surplus pieces from here. I mean, if you can see, that's that. That is that. And I like drawing feathers, and this is another project I think I'm going to do. I've got an alcove downstairs in the TV room that needs a long, thin piece of art. So I think I'm going to do one of these, probably about 4 or 5 times the size of this. So this has been the concertina journey has been quite an exploratory journey, where I've tested out ideas for future art pieces, and I love that. That's just, I like drawing feathers anyway. Then some of you weren't. Oh, that's coming up. I need to glue that down. I'll come back in afterwards. I'll put the art literally to one side, just to remind me to do that. Not everybody was enamored of the glue book style thing, but it's part of who I am and it's part of what I do. This was my version of Hey Diddle Diddle and the Cat and the Fiddle and the Cow Jumped Over the Moon. Loved this. This was just fun. I just needed a couple of days in sort of towards the last week of doing the challenge, because it had become quite intense, and I went, I just want to do something fun. So these 2 pages, the background were just gift wrapped. This was in memory of a television series back in the 70s, the 80s, which was V for Visitor. And a lot of you remembered it. I was so surprised that I wasn't the only one that remembered it. And also, I was quite surprised at how many countries on the planet it had been played in, because I didn't know. So that was fun. And then I dive straight back into this. Let's lift this up because it's going to get broken. There you go. So again, I wanted to do a multi-layered piece as an abstract, but working with quite a primary palette of colours. And I like that. That turned out really well. And I worked directly onto the page here, which was always a bit nerve-wracking. And then this was my attempt at being delicate, and I achieved it. And this was celebrating ideas that, again, I found from Kit Bell, the Canadian artist. I have a long way to go to capture her beauty of her creations, but this is so not me, but I so love it. And it wasn't without problems. I mean, I had a moment and damaged the first 4 numbers of that, and that had to be taken off. There was a different leaf here, and I came in with a knife and scraped that off. There were problems, but I got there, and I left all the problems in, because I like to leave in the trouble, because it could be trouble that you need to cure yourself. And if you see my video, at least it gives you an option as to how to cure it. Okay, over to here. This was my Mr. Bunny. Just a fun page. This was all about using washi tape as a background. And then this was a postcard that came in Happy Mail from someone. And I can't remember for the life of me. I'll have to go back through my Happy Mails to find out who sent me this. But this is, and I love the bunny. It had been propped up on my shelf in my studio for the longest time, and I wanted to immortalize it in some way. So this is how it came in here. And I like that. That was just so pretty and delicate. And it gave me ideas for something else. Then this was the second to last piece, and this was all about a sunrise. Every morning I take Biscuit out for a walk over the park, and on this morning before I came back to film, there was the most glorious sunrise, and it was all of these oranges and yellows and reds. And I came back and I thought, you know what, I did have another project planned for this day, and I came back and went, you know, I just want to get out my gel plate, and I just want to play, and I wanted to capture the essence or the feel of this morning, and I did. So this will forever remind me of that sunrise, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I loved the sunrise, and I loved this, and so did you. Right, and then we come to the very last bits. So this was the bit that launched this morning. This was me again, just playing, just wanting to try out some of the new things I'd used, give myself some positive affirmations for why I did this project in the first place, to relax a little bit and not be so hell-bent on being a perfectionist. Like a year ago, I would have been in here with a paintbrush trying to make those lines perfect. I would have been in here trying to match up little bits of tissue. I would never have let edges of things be seen. I would have crucified myself about a lot of stuff. But I didn't. I just let it happen. And I had a bit of an emotional moment about a red dragonfly, and I'm not going to talk anymore because it'll make me emotional again. I'm still a bit raw about certain things that happened last year, but so, and that for me is another memory on that page. And then on my very back page, I just put one of my gel prints down, and I stuck down everything to do with this challenge, just because I want to remember it. I did contemplate, do I want to put a topper on the front here? I don't think I do. Because which is the front, this or the other one? I mean, this is day, I've got it wrong now. See, this may be day 1. I suppose that makes out the front, but I like this. I don't want to cover up the artistry that I've created here. So guys, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I look forward to running this again next year. I may have to call in some help next year from a couple of friends that I've got here. Just trying to keep up with video comments alone is exhausting. yes, I've already got ideas for next year. And I'm not going to let the cat out the bag. You will find out what they are. I will announce them in my end of year video. So watch out for those. So for the very last time in this challenge, guys, I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. And I'm going off for a lie down. Bye bye now.